Yes! Yes, I'm finally about to beat the game and find out all the answers I've been looking for. All of these answers would be bequeathed to me like rain unto a sailor in a storm. I cannot wait to finally get all these nonsensicalities to make sense in these 3 games. Finally, everything I've been working towards will be answered, and I will understand everything. I swear to f***ing God, if there's not one single piece of revelation in this god game, I'm going to lose my f***ing mind, and I'm gonna... It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing was answered. It's just ending. It's just ending. And the credits are about to roll. And yet, here we are, with no f***ing answers. Oh my God. I'm gonna lose my mind if there are no f***ing answers to this game. Oh my God. Maybe... I need to calm down. Maybe it'll all be revealed after the credits. That might be what's going on here. Holy mother of God! Are you kidding me, Nintendo or Intelligent Systems or whoever made this game? I'm gonna sue the hell out of somebody because this sure as hell was no revelation-filled game. There's absolutely nothing in this game. I got none of what I was promised. I don't understand a single f***ing thing. Holy shit! I just... I'm gonna rip this game to pieces because I swear to God, it is along in that pile of burning garbage and Birthright, because Birthright is also garbage. Holy mother of God, I'm gonna sue somebody. I'm gonna sue somebody. This game. 9 out of 10. So I finally played the 3rd and final installment in the Fates trilogy. And if you want to see my thoughts on the previous Fates games, then I'll leave a link in the description below to my review of Conquest and Birthright. But for now, let's talk about the 3rd and final and the main canonical Fates entry, Revelations. Fire Emblem Fates Revelation, it's an interesting game. Let's start out with the gameplay and just get that out of the way really quickly. I thought the gameplay was pretty, normal. It was a perfect mix of Birthright and Conquest, having Birthright's easy stats of enemies and great leveling system, great as in easy, and Conquest interactive and harsher maps. Now, obviously these didn't blend in perfectly, but they were pretty fun and made for a tight gameplay experience that wasn't too easy as Birthright and too hard for the newcomer like Conquest was. And I thought that the gameplay was pretty much well balanced for any Fire Emblem newcomer or a veteran. A tad easy for the veteran, but still well paced nonetheless. Now, one of my larger issues with Revelation is right off the bat is it's just the fact that it's a $20 DLC. That's all it is. You can't buy Revelation on its own on the eShop or with a physical cartridge, even though it's the main canonical story, because Conquest and Birthright are just what-if canonical spin-offs. They're not canon at all. Whereas Revelation is the actual story of these 3 games and what actually takes place and is the canon game of the series. And I just find it absurd that you can't play Revelations without buying and beating either Birthright or Conquest, and then buying a $20 extra DLC Revelations. That's not me saying Revelation should have been a free edition, but I think that making people buy either Birthright or Conquest only to then go to Revelations with a digital-only download of $20 and basically making it DLC is kind of absurd, since the person who's not in the loop with how these games work might think that Conquest is that Conquest and Birthright are the only 2 games in the series, and see Revelations as a DLC offshoot, when really it's the main story of the franchise and it's behind a DLC paywall. That's really one of my larger issues with this series. But honestly, one of my largest and biggest issues with the game in general is the story.
The real flaw for me with Revelations was its story. You see, when playing Conquest or Birthright, I kept getting blocked every time I wanted an answer to something that I found strange in the story or world of the games, but was told that Revelations would hold the answers I desired. I entered the game excited to get some, revelations. But all I found was a game equally full of questions, ridiculous unexplained happenings, and a myriad of revelations that really don't mean anything. And the worst part of this is the game presents these things to you and actually thinks it's done its job. When they reveal that Corrin is the Prince of Vala, they simply leave it at that because they think that the shock of the plot twist will hold you over, when in reality, it just left me asking more questions that will never be addressed. When Gunter is revealed to have been an agent of evil the entire time, no one in the company feels betrayed or displays any human emotion to the shocking revelation. Instead, everyone just uses the power of happiness to bring him back to the good side. And did I mention the Gunter theme is all over the course of like one chapter? That's the main issue with Revelations. It throws plot twist after plot twist at you for the last 7 chapters of the game, and since each chapter contains a new twist, all of the story moments with the twists end up feeling rushed and are given no time for understanding or closure, as the game must get to the next twist as soon as possible. Nothing ever feels real, nothing feels like it's happening, and instead gives the game a feeling of incompleteness. Revelation's story ends just riddled with plot holes, and had only answered questions no one really cared to ask, while leaving everything that I needed to understand about these 3 games unanswered, which left me very unsatiated. And you know what? I think this all comes down to the Fates trilogy's tone. Now, I know that a lot of people out there consider this trilogy of games an amazing Fire Emblem experience, but for me the main problem with these games is not the pocket dimensions within pocket dimensions, it's not the half-baked characters, it's not even the robotic as hell protagonist, it's the name. Fire Emblem Fates. If the Fates games were a new IP and not Fire Emblem, I would be a lot more understanding of the way everything is in these games. The Fates trio in the Fire Emblem series really stands out as a black sheep among the rest. You see, Fire Emblem has always been a series about medieval European military dramas with a heavy focus on characters and the military stories that they were taking part in, all done with a Japanese pen and embellished with a touch of Japanese culture. And it seems that Fire Emblem Fates completely departed from that, and in doing so, lost its correlation to the identity of the Fire Emblem series. The 3 Fates entries are a fine trio of games. They just feel worlds apart from the actual Fire Emblem series. And while change and innovation are always good, going too far in changing an entry in a series always ends in alienation. Fire Emblem Fates Revelations would seem to be a fine game, but with plot twists that have no actual impact, a story that is begging for some actual emotion, and characters that don't seem to have more than one dimension, it becomes bogged down into a drag that ends without any true sense of satisfaction, which leads me to one conclusion. Fire Emblem Fates Revelations is not worth getting. If you're simply enjoying the Fire Emblem experience on 3DS and just want more Fire Emblem gameplay, then by all means it's fine for you. But if you're really craving that story satisfaction after beating Conquest or Birthright that the Revelations title promises you, don't buy it. There are no satisfactory revelations to be found here. And that's the sad truth of Fire Emblem Fates Revelations.
So those are my thoughts on Fire Emblem Fates Revelation, and honestly, I had a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of things that I really didn't understand about the game, like why even call the Sword Fire Emblem the Fire Emblem for like a second, only to go call it the Omega Yato? That makes no sense. No one called it the Omega Yato. They were calling it the Fire Emblem. Then in the game it's called Omega Yato. Just call it the Fire Emblem. It makes more sense. It would tie it into the series a little bit more. Oh my god, is that so wrong, Nintendo or Intelligent Systems or whoever? Oh my goodness, it left me with so many questions, and new questions at that. Not the questions I had left over from Conquest and Birthright. Those sure were unanswered, but now I have more and worse questions for this game, and it was just crazy. I was very disappointed with Revelations, honestly, especially since the name itself is like Revelations. Ooh, it's, yeah, I guess I was just left with a bad taste in my mouth. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next time when I review Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying Fire Emblem Month 2017. Have a good one. Goodbye.